This video is sponsored by PotownStore.com, the best place to get yourself some TCG code cards. They are compatible with TCG Live, and you can of course get everything on the website for 5% off using the coupon code ZapdosTCG. This video is also sponsored by CARDMARKET.com. This is a European platform where you're able to buy and sell cards to people all across Europe. I personally use it every single day, and you can do it as well. And you can use the referral name ZapdosTCG to help support the channel. This video is also sponsored by PLAYMAT.com. This is a platform where you're able to, of course, create your own custom playmat. They have, of course, capabilities to ship worldwide, and you can get 10% off by clicking the link down below. So definitely check it out. Last but not least is Dragon Shield, the best brand to protect your beautiful cards. You can of course there's links down below for US and European people, and you can of course get your best quality sleeves available, as well as deck boxes and binders. Thanks so much for sticking around with the commercials. I hope you enjoyed today's upload. If you do, be sure to let me know by rocking the hell out of the like button, and let's get this video going. What's up YouTube, it's ZapdosTCG here, and welcome back to our TCG video on my channel. On this channel you get daily Pokemon TCG content, so be sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out. In this video we're going to be doing a complete set review for the Paradox Rift set. I already did a top 20 best cards for the set video, and that actually was received very well. Almost 10k views on that video itself, which is super nice. Definitely check it out if you want to just stick to the core and just know what are going to be the top 20 best cards. In this video we're going to be exploring some hidden gems, some hidden tech cards, and cards you might think, oh, these are actually pretty good that we can put in a competitive binder. So hopefully you guys will buckle up, just get yourself a soda and a snack, and let's just get a great video out of the way with. So if you guys are of course hyped for Paradox Rift, you can also get over on PotownStore.com to get yourself some TCG Live codes next week, so you can actually just scan them in on TCG Live and start playing with these fantastic cards shortly. With that being said, let's just dive into the set. As we can see here, the full set list has been revealed over at PokeBeach. And PokeBeach is a very great site to just, if you want to just move along together with me. Maybe you also open up PokeBeach and you listen to this through some means, like you're treating this as a podcast or whatever. So there's actually going to be 84 secret rares in this set, which is actually crazy. And this set is almost simultaneously releasing with the one in Japan. So we are very close from simultaneous releases, which actually is insane. I wonder if the rotation also is going to be exactly the same for Japan and us. So also no news on rotation just yet, so we can just make combos with these cards in combination with the cards we already have. So Paradox Pokemon are actually are being introduced in this set, and there's also going to be future and ancient Pokemon. So these are going to be like the mechanics we've gotten to know with something like Single Strike and Rapid Strike, for instance. These are like symbols that are actually having itself placed upon the card underneath the HP department. So as you can see here, there is an ancient Roaring Moon EX, and it does come back with that emblem of ancient. So there's that. Moving forward, there's also going to be new EX cards that are not ancient and future Pokemon, and it's going to be a combination of Japan's Ancient Roar and Future Flash in combination with Raging Surf and September's Terra, Mewtwo, and Skeledirge EX deck. So it's all going to be grouped together into one ginormous set with a lot of competitive cards in there. So this is actually going to be a way more impactful set than the Obsidian Flames and the 151 set combined. So this is going to shake up the format quite a little bit, because there's going to be new cards and hopefully new archetypes. So let's just see here. Also going to be some new reverse hollow patterns that you can see here, which are looking pretty neat in my opinion. So with that being said, let's just dive into the set. Paradox Rift English set list revealed, and I couldn't be any more happy to just go along with the cards with you. So there is going to be Masquerain. Flip a coin until you get tails. For each head, shuffle an energy attached from your opponent's active Pokemon into their deck. Energy denial, it's not like discarding. If it was discard energies, this would be way better, like we've saw before with Seeking. This is just shuffling the energies back, which is actually pretty annoying. So it's an annoying situation thing, but there's no gonna be the opponent will never run out of energies, because if you keep using this attack, then the opponent can simply put them back, and there's also no ways to reflip coins, to be honest. So this is pretty bad. But I'm going to be having a complete set review. We already talked about the best cards in general, but I want to get these fringe cards out of the way with as well. There's Frostlass EX. It looks very cool. It needs water type energies and it's a grass Pokemon. So at first glance, you could be putting this into something like a chien-pao or any water deck that uses Baxcalibur as your grass Pokemon attacker to deal with Charizard. Even though chien-pao doesn't even need help with Charizard, it's something that could help because you need water energies and it's a grass Pokemon. Also, a very cool thing that it comes back with is that when this Pokemon is in the active spot and is knocked out, flip a coin. If heads, your opponent takes 1 prize card less for the knockout. So that is a 2 prize Pokemon. It is an EX Pokemon, but it is only going to be giving up 1 prize card half of the time, which is cool. Only if it like gets knocked out on the active, which almost always will happen, except if they're going to be placing damage counters onto Frostlass and then it's knocked out when it's on the bench. It also cannot get sniped up on the bench because it's a Terra form, so it also comes with that clause if we already know that. So also attack Frost Bullet, 140 damage. This attack does 20 damage to one of your opponent's bench Pokemon for 2 water energy. So it's going to be some sort of an annoying deck that half of the time is a 1 prize deck. But also with Path to the Peak in play, I don't think it's very good. So that's why I also didn't mention it in the top 20 best cards. There is a very unique Simi-Sage, Simi-Seer, and Simi-Poor in here that can all attack for like ignore all the cardless energies and the attack cost of this Pokemon if you have all of them in play. So you have to get Simi-Sage out, Simi-Seer, and Simi-Poor, which is actually pretty hard to do because they are also not levelable, searchable, and also you need all of them in play. So if you get like 2 of them out, that's great. There's also Jacques, or whatever you pronounce it, support to get now 3 evolution Pokemon. That could help in combination with a high amount of like Level Ball, VIP Pass, and Nest Ball. So just go wide on your board, then play Jacques, evolve all of them, and then you can almost attack for free. This one will still need Grass Energy, but you could be playing that, what was it again, the Luminous Energy to provide the attack cost. Then for just 1 energy, you can do 100 damage. During your opponent's next turn, prevent all damage done to this Pokemon by attacks from your opponent's Pokemon that have any abilities. So, yeah, you are protected from Pokemon that have abilities very similar to the Snow Mirage of Alolan Vulpix, right? So, prevent all damage, so only the damage, the effects still go through, so placing damage counters, etc. But, yeah, preventing all the damage here is going to be pretty interesting. So if you can keep spamming that attack, we've seen before that attacks like this are viable. Think about Alolan Vulpix. Think about something like a little bit recent was the Galarian Obstagoon that cannot get attacked by basic in a basic heavy format. If there's gonna be like, if you think about it, a lot of Pokemon have abilities, right? Gardevoir EX comes back with an ability. Shining Arcana comes back with an ability. What else can we talk about here? Chien-pao has an ability. There's also Miraidon has an ability. Raikou has an ability. I could keep going, but the format is packed with abilities. The only problem is the Radiant Charizard has an ability. Pidgeot has an ability. Arceus V-Star has an ability. All these Pokemon with abilities will not be able to touch Semi-Sage, which is going to be interesting. Maybe a rogue meme deck can come out of nowhere. And you can also try and get this off with a triple energy. What was it again? The reversal energy. And maybe some sort of a Zoroark toolbox. Like, I know every single set I tried to just revert back to a Zoroark toolbox from like the Evolving Skies Zoroark. But it never seems to be working out. This could also help with that regard. Okay. Here we come with Crustle. Crustle here, 100 damage during your opponent's next turn. This Pokemon takes 100 less damage from evolution Pokemon. So it becomes pretty tanky. And there's also a tool card that could help boost the HP of non-rule box Pokemon by 100. So pretty much this Crustle could have 230 HP and then 100 damage reduction. So funky times with Crustle. Who knows? Yeah, it's probably gonna be meme material, but I definitely wanted to get this out of the way. Talk about every single card that people might have, wanted to be putting in their binder, I suppose. Okay. What else do we see here? There's an Orbeetle. Is it going to be having some control aspect to it? It states here, 30 damage for every energy test in your opponent. Oh, whoa. 30 damage for each energy in your opponent's discard pile. Okay. For 1 energy. Let's see here. If they're up against Gardevoir, they can simply attach it all over their field and suddenly you're dealing 0 damage. I know, it seems bad. But in other situations, you can be playing Crushing Hammer to boost the damage output, but it just seems so terribly bad because let's think about it. Most decks run around 10 energies, right? So if you get them all in the discard pile, you do 300 damage. But the problem is, half of them are remaining in the deck. Half of them are like laid around on their Pokemon. So and most of the decks actually get them out of the deck with some sort of crazy stuff. Like we have the Earthen Vessel that can get energies from the deck to then attach them. So This is very bad. Yeah, it's very bad. I'll just leave it at that. Okay, this Toad's cool just gets points for style. Look at him. Look at him go. So, yeah, that's just a basic grass energy from your hand to one of your bench Pokemon. So you can accelerate grass energies, I suppose. But it also evolves into Toad's cruel, looking menacingly in your soul behind the tree. Looking like Halloween-y. Yeah. It has an ability. Cards in your opponent's discard pile can be put in their hand through the effects of trainer cards or abilities they use. So, which cards can get back in the hand? Think about superior energy retrieval. Forget about it. You cannot get them back in the hand. Very funky tool card that you could be utilizing in the form that, yeah, cards in your opponent's discard pile cannot be put in their hand. So also, let's take a look what other cards from the discard pile get back from the discard. Let's see here. Or like, I think about superior energy retrieval because I'm like playing chien-pao all the time. Are there any meta decks that want to be putting cards in the hand? Oh yeah, I would be saying like. Clara, this is going to be a way, yeah, you could be blocking the Clara spam in Sable's Heart. I think there's way more solutions. Cards in your opponent's discard pile cannot be put in the hand. They can still be put in place, like let's say Summoning Star still works because instead of going to the hand, the cards from the discard pile go onto the bench. Or cards that go from the discard pile back in the deck also still work, so it's very niche, the use of the Toad's Cruel, but it could stop superior energy retrieval. I guess. Maybe other things that I cannot think about right now, but you can place them in the comment section. We have Wu-Chan. Attach up to 2 basic grass energy from your discard pile to one of your Pokemon. That first attack is actually pretty interesting because you can get grass energy acceleration. For instance, I'll be giving you a little example. This reminds me a little bit of the Cresselia from, what was it again? The Cresselia that accelerates energies if you go second or something like that to just power up a big Pokemon. I could see this powering up a Regidrago. So you can attach up to 2 basic grass energy from your discard pile to one of your Pokemon, so you can power up Regidrago. That's like the thing I see here instantly. Maybe other grass Pokemon that want to get powered up could also try and make use of the Wu-Chan. There's way better grass energy acceleration, by the way. You can sometimes even blow up a Fortress EX or something. But yeah, there's that. Also 140 damage during your opponent's next turn. The defending Pokemon, their attack cost is 2 colorless energy more. But that's a very insane attack cost, needing 3 grass and a colorless energy. A very cool Magby. There's baby Pokemon now. We've had baby Pokemon before. Imagine the Cleffa from Obsidian Flames. This Magby, during your opponent's next turn, if the Pokemon, if this Pokemon is damaged, and even if it's knocked out, put 6 damage counter on the attacking Pokemon. That's actually pretty useful. On your first turn, going second, just attach Retreat into Magby. Use this if they don't have Escape Rope or Boss. They have to deal with this Magby, and if they hit into the Magby, they get 6 damage counters. 6 damage counters could work into decks like other decks that want that. Like example, if you're playing an Arceus deck, you could be having some switch outs and then attach 3 Arceus on the bench and then have this Magby in the active position, and then they slap into the Magby, putting 6 damage counters on themselves, or otherwise they do nothing, I suppose. And then you can finish it off with like the attack. But it's just so niche. I don't think it will be seeing play, but it's an attack you can use for free. And the opponent also has full control. They can also decide not to attack it, but it could be something like, haha, now you have to deal with Magby, but probably not going to be good anyway. Simisear, part of the underrated monkeys from the Unova region trio. Yeah, as mentioned, if you get all of them in place, Simisage, Simisear, Simipour, ignore all colorless energy attack costs, and you can have this fired up with 1 fire energy, 190 damage, and you slap 30 damage to yourself. 190 for 1 energy seems nice, I guess. This is a card you cannot combine with reversal energy, but you need to get all the fellas into play. And if some of the fellas get knocked out, you also need to replace them, so that's why I think it's very bad. A Volcanion with the dual turbo. Choose 2 of your bench Pokemon and attach 1 basic fire energy from your discard pile to each of them. And you also deal 20 damage. It's like Steam Siege Volcanion, but without the way you can power up the damage output. Although there's a Skeletor EX in the format that actually comes out in this set that can boost the damage output. But it's like an exact copy paste of like Steam Siege Volcanion, I suppose. Accelerating to 2 different bench Pokemon, powering them up. As you can see here, Fuecoco and Crocolor, I don't even know how to pronounce this guy, but it evolves into a Metal-type Terraform Skeletor EX, which will boost the damage output of your Fire-type Pokemon. Moving forward, there's the Charcadet evolving. There's actually 2 different Charcadets. There's the one with 80 HP with a 2 retreat cost. There's the one with 1 retreat cost, so which one is better? Depends on how Lost Box does in this new format, but yeah, let's see here. It evolves into the Armor Rouge EX. I talked about this. Yeah, I don't think I talked about this. So Armor Rouge EX, when this Pokemon is at full HP, 260 HP, not the greatest number out there, but yeah, if you have full HP, it takes 80 less damage from your attacks. So from the attacks from the opponent. So let's say they want to be slapping. I'm gonna give a little example. Mew VMAX. 2 tablets, yeah, that's not enough, unfortunately. You will need more because you take 80 less damage from attacks. So that's very good if you have full HP. Technically, you have 340 HP by then, right? So that's pretty damn cool. And there's also this Scorching Bazooka, 40 damage plus 40 more for every fire energy attached to this Pokemon. So very similar to Darkrai V-Star, but then for fire energies. So you slap 40 damage, and then with 2 fire energies already, you're doing 120, which actually the same attack cost is like Metal Blast from Dialga V-Star. How do you get a lot of fire energies into play? Of course, Magma Basin, but that counteracts with its ability not having like full HP. But on the other hand, there's also an Armor Rouge, which can absorb the energy, actually absorb the damage from Magma Basin and then move them to the active position. So you can be playing like a split line, 2 Armor Rouge EX, 2 Armor Rouge of this one, and then you have like some sort of a Quagnack stuff going around. The more fire energies, the better, and the more you have them in play, you can go crazy. Will this be an archetype? Probably a tier 3 deck, but it could become better when people have the exact list. There's a great amount of fire Pokemon that use Magma Basin as well. There is the Radiant Heatran, Radiant Charizard, so fire does have some firepower. Yeah, there's the Iron Moth, a future Pokemon. Once during your turn, when this Pokemon moves from your bench to the active spot, you may move any amount of fire energies from your other Pokemon to it. So pretty much the same thing like a Weirdeer V, absorbing all the energies, but only fire energies, and then you can slap 120. For a basic Pokemon, if you want to be slapping 120, like sometimes that could be your one price Pokemon, maybe a one-off in the deck, I guess, but this pattern also looks pretty dope here with the future and ancient card designs. Chi-Yu, attach 2 fighters from your discard pile to one of your bench Pokemon. Very similar to the Wu-Champ, but then for fire Pokemon, and its attack actually is... if any of your Pokemon were knocked out, you actually slap 140 damage, so it's a revenge kind of Pokemon. 140 is actually pretty interesting. Is it going to be Mattering? I don't know, but it's another basic fire Pokemon added to your binder just in case for something like... We have Moltres, which can attack for 1 energy. We have this Iron Moth. We have the Chi-Yu. So lots of basic fire Pokemon support. Okay, Horsea, Seadraw, and Alduin to Kingdraw always comes back with some funky attacks. The World Tide. Reveal the top 6 cards of your deck. This attack does 60 damage to one of your opponent's Pokemon for each energy you find there. Then discard those energies. Shuffle the rest back in the deck. So yeah, if you have a lot of energies in your deck, that's actually pretty interesting. If your deck, like let's say your deck contains 14 energies, just like a Miraidon. You do like an electric generator. Sometimes you see 3, sometimes you see 2, but at snipes. You can snipe anything you want, but it's a stage 2 Pokemon, but only requires 1 water energy. So maybe you play a deck without 18 energies, and sometimes I don't know where you snipes 300. Only bad thing, you are stopped by Manaphy, but on the other hand, you can actually attack the active as well. So Kingdraw, Rogue deck, Kingdraw Rogue deck. We have to play it on TCG Live. There's Octillery. Look at this 3D Octillery in a real live beach or whatever when it's raining. Oh, yeah, it's coming out to shore. Once during your turn, when you play this card from your hand to evolve one of your Pokemon. It states one of your Pokemon, but it's always going to be Remoraid. We don't have Ditto Prism Star. Please, Pokemon, reprint Ditto Prism Star. I like that card. Anyhow, you may draw 3 cards. We've seen card effects like this before in the form of Manectric, in the form of Golbats and stuff, but we don't have Scoop Up Net, so this is bad. Maybe a one-off in the Rapid Strike box. Maybe you get out 2 Remoraids, 1 for the Octillery, getting out Rapid Strike cards, and 1 just in case you leave it as a Remoraid, just if you want draw power. Yeah, nice uses, I know, but it's probably not going to be seeing play. Milotic, when you play this Pokemon from your hand to evolve one of your Pokemon during your turn, you may use this ability. Each player puts a basic Pokemon from their discard pile onto their bench. Okay, so pretty much Echoing Horn. But you could also use this to get a Pokemon back from your side of the field, I guess. Yeah. Helping boost damage output for Palkia V-Star. I don't know. I don't see this working out, but I think Echoing Horn is so much better because you can use Echoing Horn Balls. This is an ability, I suppose. So when you evolve, you always have the way you can find. It's a searchable Echoing Horn in most situations. because as soon as you have Phoebus in play, but Phoebus has 30 HP in a world filled with Sableye. Will Sableye be nerfed thanks to Iron Hands? We'll figure it out, but this is like Echoing Horn and ability. Garchomp EX, I talked about this in the top 20 best cards. I think this is an underrated EX card. Great stats all around. You have free retreat, 1 energy slapping, 160 damage, and you accelerate up to 3 fighting Pokemon from your discard pile to your bench Pokemon anyway. Like this is just having incredible stats. We've seen before like stuff like full blitz, saw play to power up Pokemon to then do the bigger damage output. This is going to be seeing play at one point. It also can snipe 120 damage to your opponent's Pokemon. You can snipe to the bench as well for 2 energy. So this is having great raw stats. Garchomp EX. Weak to lightning though in the format with Iron Hands and Miraidon still being good, so I don't know. Manaphy has, actually Manti gets a reprinted card after over 3,000 years. I don't know. Is this the second Manti card we have? It's insane. What else? If you have more prize cards remaining than your opponent, 160. You can power it up with Baxcalibur. 1 prizer that slaps 160, that's not bad. 160 is 2 shots on V-Stars and V-Maxes. As a 1 prize Pokemon, this damage output is not bad. And it's a basic, so slap it down and power it up. But on the other hand, the 2 retreat costs. We've seen cards like the Kyogre being used sometimes in Baxcalibur decks, and having a 2 retreat Pokemon. Even the Frigibax with 70 HP is just such a nuisance to deal with. Okay, Simipour finishing up the monkeys. Yeah, this one for 1 water energy. If you have all of the Simi shenanigans in play, you can slap 50 damage. Actually, 50 damage to the active and 30 to each of your opponent's bench Pokemon. So like flying flip on steroids together with 50 damage. But and suddenly you see like, oh, I have a couple of Comfades, I have weak HP. I just slap down Manaphy and this card is nullified. So, pretty bad. Vanillux, your opponent's Pokemon that have 40 HP or less remaining can't attack. We've had... This is like Panic Mask, right? Panic Mask in an ability. And yeah, if we had decks, like for instance, Night March from back in the day, or maybe even more recent, if we had Lost March, or even more recent, there was the Mad Party deck. If they have 40 HP or less, they can't attack. So it's a funky counter, and also can counter Gardevoirs for some specific reason. So that means if you have this in play, they cannot Shining Arcana their way all the way to like damage them themselves for an insane amount of damage. They need to be careful because if they have 40 HP, they can't attack. So that's kind of funky, I guess. That's the only funky. There's gonna be some funky way people will try to make this work in some sort of a funky control deck, but it's pretty bad in my opinion. Serena EX needing grass energies, and it's a terrestrialized Pokemon. Very cool attack, by the way. Icicle Soul. Put damage counters on one of her opponent's Pokemon until its remaining HP is 30. We've seen something like this working out with, what was it, Galarian Rapidash V? Putting damage counters until they have a specific amount of damage counters remaining. So, let's see here. For 1 grass energy, boom, a VMAX goes down to 30 HP remaining. Or a V-Star goes down to 30 HP remaining. You can do that on specific targets. And then finish them off with sniping capabilities. Will this be played? I don't know. Again, it's a stage 2, but as mentioned, I do like the fact, also with Garchomp, by the way, I have to note down is that you can use Irida because it's a water type. So water type stage 2s are way better than any other stage 2s, unless Gardevoir, because they have a draw engine of themselves, because Irida can find the candy and find the stage 2. Also, the Trop Kick, 180, heal 30 from this Pokemon and recover all special conditions. So pretty great as well. Only problem is it's a stage 2, but you can slap 180. You can 2-shot Pokemon, or you can just go for the attack and put all the opponent's Pokemon remaining to 30 HP remaining and then snipe and swoop the game like that. You are weak to metal though, so with Goldango coming into the format, that's a little bit concerning. That's true. Okay, Golisopod, 20 damage for each card in your opponent's hand. They can just easily play around that, so that's pretty bad. But they cannot play around that. If you play this into the Zoroark deck, Zoroark Toolbox gets a new friend with unit energy. You can get this off. Golisopod EX, the new hit and run Pokemon, 70 damage flat or 170 and go to the bench. You can get this off easily with DTE and Raihan or whatever, or just power it up with Palkia V-Star or Baxcalibur, and then you can go for a hit and run strategy where you use Golisopod EX into Klefki or into Mimikyu. A couple of Wiglets. Seems like Wiglets coming back every single time. They are everywhere. They are everywhere, but they're not good. There's the Wuk Trio. When you play this card to evolve your one of your Pokemon, you may search your deck for 3 tool cards and put them into your hand. So now the Rotom V-Star tool deck gets this Wug Trio. Can Rotom V-Star become good? I don't know. We don't have Scoop Up Net, so you cannot reuse these abilities. And they have a 2 retreat cost. They can get sniped. Then they are searchable with level ball though. You have to give them that. But being 9 HP, Radiating Greninja gonna snipe them. Cut for the Job ability. That's an insane ability. Basic Water type Pokemon could help with the Excalibur decks out there. 60 damage plus 20 more for every Water energy attached to this Pokemon, and comes back with an ability. If this Pokemon is knocked out from damage from your opponent's Pokemon, you may move the two energies from this Pokemon to one of your bench Pokemon. So pretty much, you can start sniping with Veluza into some... I think it's working more in a Palkia deck, because otherwise you just have Retrieval and Excalibur to accelerate the energies. But into a Palkia V-Star deck, it's going to be great as your one prize attacker. You slap huge damage, and then you get knocked out. You put the energies onto a Palkia or onto a Radiant Greninja. I could see this working out as one-off, because if you're knocked out, you still keep the energies. Dondozo, ridiculous 160 HP. Look at the top 5 cards of your deck. Choose any number of basic energy cards you find them and attach them to this Pokemon. Hydro Splash, 180. No, it's not gonna be seeing play. 180, 5 energies, 160 HP, 1 prizer. Again, Excalibur gets a new friend. There's the Iron Bundle, aka the future of Delibird. If you play this onto your bench, you have a Repel, I suppose. You may switch out your opponent's active to the bench. So the opponent chooses the new active Pokemon. So pretty much Repel or a one-sided Escape Rope. And if you do, you discard this Pokemon and all cards attached, which you can then reuse with Clara, Super Rod, etc. if you can get it back from the discard pile. So a searchable Escape Rope. One-sided Escape Rope, I might add. There's a one-prize chien-pao. Chien-pao has become one of my favorite Pokemon now because of the chien-pao EX. So pretty similar story to Wu-Chen and the Yichu, whatever. These legendary Pokemon allowing you to accelerate type of energies attached to basic water energy from your discard pile to one of your Pokemon. This is not good. Not good, because you get search the cards from the discard pile with Shivery Chill, always having that in the active position, and you don't need water energy acceleration with Excalibur in the format. Mewtwo EX, we talked about it in the top 20 best cards video if you want to see some more detailed combos, but more importantly, Terra Pokemon that is going to be able to attach 2 Psychic Energy from your discard pile to your Pokemon any way you like with its first attack, so turn 1 going second, you could use that. And 10 damage plus 30 more for every Psychic Energy attached to all of your Pokemon, so pretty much you can get this off with Raihan attachment and then Psychic Embracing all the rest of the energies to your Psychic Pokemon with the Gardevoir EX deck. Maybe as a one-off in a Gardevoir deck, but there's also going to be the Xatu that can power up some Pokemon, so cool Pokemon. Elekid, snipe 30 damage to one of your opponent's Pokemon. This eats up other BP Pokemon. For example, if Cleffa sees a lot of play, Magby sees a lot of play, whatever, you can have this Elekid as a tech card. They also have free retreat, but you can snipe 30 damage to one of your opponent's Pokemon. Could help with specific numbers. Maybe. You don't know. And also, this is like 31 of your opponent's Pokemon. Don't apply weakness and resistance for bench Pokemon. But this could eat up a Pidgey. If like the Pidgey decks become like insanely popular or whatever. Attach retreat and knock it out with an Elekid. So if Pidgey becomes a tier 1 deck with a 20% meta share, people might be playing Elekid to knock out Pidgey turn 1. Let's go. Okay. Buddy pulls, they also come together. If you have Plusle in play, whenever your opponent attaches the energy from their hand to one of your Pokemon, put 2 damage counters on that Pokemon. So Frozen City or Old Cemetery, that works for any attachment. So very ridiculous. If you have these 2s in play and then you're up against something like Excalibur, they have damage. But yeah, we'll never see play, I suppose. Zipstrika, choose basic lightning energies from your discard pile up to the number of prize cards your opponent has taken and attach them to your Pokemon any way you like. You don't need that. You have Flaffy Dynamotor, way better indeed. Zekrom, legendary Pokemon. Before doing damage, discard all tools from the opponent's active and also 130 and 40 damage to one of your opponent's bench Pokemon. You could power this up technically in a Miraidon deck. People are already playing sometimes Zapdos from Pokemon Go, more importantly for the 10 additional damage output, but this is a good one prize Pokemon to just set up some damage math. You can 130 to the active, 40 to the bench, but there are way better lightning Pokemon and the deck just... talking about more lightning Pokemon, talk about this Tapu Koko EX. Another Tapu Koko coming into the format. 30 damage. If any of your Pokemon were knocked out by damage from your opponent's last turn, you actually just do 90 more damage, or 120, and the opponent's Pokemon is now paralyzed. who can just imagine? You see, like, in the past we had Tandem, Shock, Raichu, and Alolan Raichu Tag Team GX were actually cheese games. I know Reset Stamp was in the format, but now we have Iono, we have Path, we have a way to set us up with Flaffy. I think this could be a one-off in Miraidon because you can use the crazy Iono Path Paralyzation combo to then run away with the game like that. Great card as a one-off in Miraidon. Talking about one-offs or maybe two-offs in Miraidon or in other decks. Iron Hands EX. Okay, I've seen Lugia decks with playing Lightning Energies just to power this up. I've seen chien-pao decks playing Lightning Energies and the new Earthen Vessel to power that up. I've seen Mirage Gated builds of Iron Hands. The thing is clear. Amphew very much. The second attack is where the format will just increase for the worse. I don't know. It's going to be way faster. Amphew very much. 120 damage and you can take an additional prize card if you knock something out. So, okay. Opponents start with Luminion. I have turn 2. Amphew very much. I take 3 prize cards. Or I knock out a Comfey. I take 2 prize cards. It has monstrous 230 HP. This is scary, man. Yeah, I'll be testing out chien-pao Iron Hands, but yeah, the format. I don't know if Lost Box can handle a card like this, to be honest. So it's gonna be increasing the format. Also, you can eat up a Curlia for 2 prize cards. Eat up a Lugia V for 3 prize cards. It's getting ridiculous. This card is very good. I talked about it before. Xatu is pretty much Shadow Radical X VMAX into an ability of a 1 prize Pokemon. Accelerate Psychic Energy to one of your branch Pokemon and then draw 2 cards. So you draw 2 cards while you accelerate energies. Drawing cards is good. Accelerating energies is good. This is a good card. The only thing I don't like is I wish it had 90 HP so you can level ball it. But we still have Fog Crystal, so there's at least that. This is a 1 prize Latios. Also a little bit underrated because you can power it up in Gardevoir to slap 180 damage. While only needing to, like, if you attach it to turn, only put 4 damage counters on it. Could be interesting. 180 is like a great number, to be honest. I wonder if it's going to be seen play. Deoxys, 120 damage. Move all energy from this Pokemon to your bench Pokemon. Pretty bad because you're probably just gonna accelerate energies with Xatu or with Gardevoir Psychic's Embrace. Configurigus EX gives me some Dracopult vibes. 110 damage. Great. I put 5 damage counters on your opponent's Pokemon in any way that you like. Combine this with some Hawlucha action flying entry and you can just have another card that can turn to check evolving Pokemon. You can just knock out a couple of weak HP Pokemon with this, right? Definitely if they only have 60 HP. And if it's knocked out, you can search your deck for any card. So Dracopult VMAX is a little bit back. Gourgeist just in time for Halloween. If this Pokemon is knocked out by damage from your opponent's attacks, put 2 random cards from your opponent. Oh, discard 2 random cards from your opponent's hand. Okay, the opponent has full control to not knock out Gourgeist, and there's way better cards that actually tag the hand. Think about Arbok EX, for example. So, nope, not a big fan. What else? Espatra? Meep, he's here. When you play this Pokemon from to evolve, during your opponent's next turn, prevent all damage from and effects for attacks done to this Pokemon. Okay. The problem I see here is that you probably will have Pokemon upon your bench. And the opponent will just boss or escape rope or place damage counters. Actually, the effects of attacks also cannot affect this one. So at least there's that. Being immune from a turn. If you have Tillip in your discard pile, 70 more damage. So 140 damage and being immune if you evolve. You don't have Scoop Up Net. You're only going to be stalling out 1 turn. That's about it. So that's where the card is bad. A couple of Tinkatink. Are they the preferred ones? I don't know. I haven't played Tinkaton EX, but I did face it at the Lille Regionals. And I slaughtered it. Okay, Tinkaton. 60 damage if it has a metal energy attached. 120. Okay, for a metal... ooh. For a unit energy, you slap 180. Stage 2 that slaps 180 for 1 energy. We have to try it. We at least give it the courtesy to try it out, right? Screamtail, Ancient Pokemon. This attack does 20 damage to one of your opponent's bench Pokemon for each damage counter on this Pokemon. If you can pull this off with a lot of damage counters, it's only to one of your opponent's bench Pokemon. Bad. Glimighoul is very great because it eventually evolves into Goldango. Maybe my new favorite deck. Iron Valiant EX, very great card. If it moves to the active position, 2 damage counter on one of your opponent's Pokemon. This could be a donking deck, right? You could be playing a bunch of Iron Valiant EXs. Yeah, I guess so. A bunch of Iron Valiant EXs just circle around like that and then dunk the opponent's Pokemon because there's a lot of weak HP Pokemon. Glimmighoul, Frigibax, Ralts, Comfy, Mareep. I could keep going, but if the opponent starts with a low HP Pokemon, you can dunk them turn 1, so they don't even have they cannot even draw a card because you're going to be winning on turn 1. You just play Squawkabilly, you play a bazillion amount of escape ropes, switch cards, switches, ways to search this out with something like a Fog Crystal, searches out from the discard pile, from the prize cards with Hisuian Heavy Ball, so dunking deck, let's go. Also, if you go second, you might be considering playing some Rapid Strike energies and the Medicham, so you can Yoga Loop turn 2, I guess. That's probably the best way to go about this. Dunking deck, Iron Valiant EX, I think it's great. Okay, with that being said, there's a Gliscor. Still flipping coins, still want to poison them, and you actually, if it's heads, you put 2 damage counters between turns. It's a bulk card. Groudon. 60 damage, you may discard up to 4 energy cards from your Pokemon. Interesting. I see this working out with the Garchomp, by the way. Garchomp, 160 for 1 energy, and then you accelerate energies upon your field, and then Groudon can be your beat stick 1. Yeah, you can just attack a couple of times with Garchomp until all of the energies are in play, and then boom! Discard up to 4 energies, you slap 240. It's only limited. That's unfortunate that it's limited. But it does discard energies from any Pokemon, so 240 is limited. If it was unlimited, I think I would have loved it more, but right now, roguish. Okay, Hoopa EX. Hoopa EX is going to be an interesting card. 50 damage for each energy attached to all of your opponent's Pokemon in play. It needs Darkness energies, by the way, so I don't know how you power this up because you cannot resort to Dark Patch. Raihan Attachment is my best bet. It's a fighting type Pokemon, so that could be the way you could do it, or just attach, following turn attach, but your opponent has full control. But against something like that has a lot of energies in play, think about chien-pao, think about Miraidon, you could just come out of nowhere. Definitely against Miraidon, it's kind of like a Miraidon tech, to be honest, because Miraidon does have a lot of energies in play all the time. There's that. Okay, Meteor is a Pokemon card that can counter the Iron Hands. If you're having trouble with that, that's interesting. Once during your turn, if this Pokemon is on your bench, you may attach an energy card from your hand to this Pokemon. You may switch it to the active position. So pretty much if you have an energy in your hand and you slap it down on the bench, you can have it instantly activated. And then you slap 20 damage for each colorless energy in your opponent's active retreat cost. Pretty much, so if the Iron Hands has like a 4 retreat cost, right? So you're slapping 80, 160? Is that enough? That's not even enough. Alright, maybe this in combination with Defiance Band. Is that working out? That's 110. No, it's still not working out. How do we get more damage? How do we get this fella to deal more damage so it can knock out an Iron Hand, so it can become that tech card? You can instantly respond to an Iron Hands, but it needs to knock it out. So for now... Oh yeah, you can improve the opponent's retreat cost, right? There was that one card. I think I know which card it was. If you take a look at it, it was the Wasteland, right? The Calamitous Wasteland. The retreat cost of each basic non-fighting Pokemon is 1 card's energy more. I think then we are getting somewhere. So with this, in combination with that, the Iron Hands will have 5 retreat costs. That means Meteor can slap 200 damage, and then Defiance Band in combination. Defiance Band, Wasteland, Meteor, and you counter Iron Hands. Yes! You get a counter in the same set. Let's go. But it's kind of a hard combo to pull off. But yeah. When this is in play, they will no longer get out on Iron Hands because you're going to be equaling the price rate. And they need to power it up once again. Toxicity, fighting type needing lightning energies. Look at it. 70 damage, discard the top card of your opponent's deck. Let's go. Just random milling. It's like Crackle-Lanch. And Crackle-Lanch sometimes wins games by discarding the most crucial card of the opponent's deck. And then 270. Discard 2 lightning energies from your Pokemon in play. So this is a cool tech card. Why do I think it's a cool tech card? You can have the Toxel in your Miraidon deck. And then go for Electric Generators, Flaffy, etc. And then just evolve and you have a fighting type attacker. Do we need fighting type attacker? Yeah, it can hit weakness against Arceus. Can weakness against... Are there any other cards you want to be hitting weakness against that are fighting weak? Yes, Iron Hands, I know. But yeah, there's a tech card right there. Alright, there is the Gargonicle. Look at that. Once during your turn, you may attach a basic fighting energy from your discard pile to one of your Pokemon. If you do, heal 30 damage. So you have a couple of them in play. Problem is, it's a stage 2. I think it's bad. Clawful. Is this even a better Iron Hands counter? Probably. This guy slaps 190 if it's affected by a special condition. Now this is a deck. I'll be playing 4 Claw. I play the Curie, Spicy Curie. Is it here? Curie. The Spicy Seasoned Curie is the card you want to be pairing it up with. Your opponent's active is now burned. Actually, your active is now burned and heal 40 damage from it. So you are burned, which means 180. Actually 190. With DTE 170. This is going to be a very great card. I mentioned it before. The Slitherwing, look at that. Ancient Volcarona in my opinion. So yeah, you can discard the top card of your opponent's deck. Average, panic attack, I guess. But the other attack is 120 and actually it does 90 damage to itself. Your opponent's Pokemon is also burned, so pretty much it actually stops 140 with that, with the burn damage. You can also get this off in one attack with the new Professor Sawdust. I don't even know what the other word is in investigation. I don't know. It's a great supporter, allowing you to accelerate energy to your ancient Pokemon. Sandy Shocks can also use that supporter, Professor Sawdust, in combination with its ability. This ability can only be used if your opponent has 4 or fewer prize cards remaining. So if they've taken 2 prize cards, you can accelerate it to attach a basic fighting energy from your discard pile to this Pokemon. And then with Professor Sawdust and detach of turn, you can get this off in 1 turn. Could be interesting for sure. Tinglu, another legendary Pokemon accelerating energies. Now this is something I like better. It reminds me a little bit of Terrakion back in the day for some reason. You can use this to accelerate basic fighting energies from your discard pile to one of your Pokemon. So you leave yourself open for boss, but you can accelerate fighting energies, I guess. I think the Koraidon EX already accelerates fighting energy, so there's no need for it. And also, if you want to accelerate energies, might as well play Garchomp, and it's some sort of deck like Garchomp with some big, bulky fighting type EXs with the Bravery Charm on top of that. So there's that. Crobat, 50 damage. Choose item cards or supporter cards. During your opponent's next turn, they can play any type of that cards that you choose. So yeah, you even have item lock or supporter lock, depending on which state of the game you are in right now. There's also a Zubat, allowing you to look at the opponent's hand. So don't forget, in the 151 set, there's a Zubat, allowing you to do that. So you have full control. You see, oh, they have this in hand. Now you are item locked. Now you are supporter locked. For DTE, interesting, right? It's very interesting. Yeah, it's another sort of way of item lock. Also comes back with free retreat, by the way. Interesting. Control players will love this. You may discard any number of cards from your hand, then draw cards until you have 5 in hand. And then also, if this has a tool cards, 80 damage. Just an Absol. I think Arno will love Absol, but for the rest, that's average. Nobody will like the Absol for competitive reasons, unfortunately. There's Trubbish. Look at him laughing around. There's leftovers like there. I see it. Garbodor. Look at him. Discard any number of tool cards from your hand. This attack does 50 damage for every card you discarded in this way. So Garbodor Wick Trio. Is it going to be the new meme deck? You could be playing the new Jirachi to protect yourself from Lost Mine. So 50 damage for every tool card. Yeah. This could work out. So 50 multiplier, only needing 1. If you evolve 2 Wuck Trios, you have 6. That means 300 damage for 1 energy. A random Garbodor deck. I could see it working. It still needs to be a refined list, but that's about it. Yeah, for a DTE, you're actually going to be slapping 30 plus 60. That's 90 damage against an evolution Pokemon. But with the DTE, that's actually going to be 70 damage. 70 times 2, 140. You can knock out... What can you knock out with that? I think the Shining Arcana is weak to... I think it is weak to metal, if I am not mistaken. It's the one from Gardevoir here. Yeah, it is weak to metal, so I don't know what you're going to be knocking out from an evolution Pokemon that is weak to darkness. Maybe help me out, folks, if you know some. But it's something you can get off with a DTE. Teevil, once during your turn, when you play this card to evolve one of your Pokemon, you may look at your opponent's hand. Choose 2 energy cards you find there and have them shuffle them back into the deck. It has to be discard. If it was discard, this card would be good. Now it's bad. If this Pokemon doesn't have any energy attached, free retreat. Okay, I guess. 70 damage. Nah, it's pretty bad. Low kicks. Well, cool Pokemon. Actually allowing you to have hit and run with bounce or just a punching kick. This attack does 40 more damage for each damage counter on your opponent's active Pokemon. So it's a cleanup Pokemon. Stage 1. The Brood Bonnet. It's Among Us from the past. Ancient Among Us. Once during your turn, if this Pokemon has an ancient booster energy capsule attached, you make both active poisoned. So you yourself, as well as the opponent, are poisoned. Once during your turn. Oh yeah, this could also be working out with Clawful, so you don't need that spicy curry. You can just go for the Brood Bonnets, and just every single turn you poison and Clawful. Kaboom. Roaring Moon EX can insta knockout Pokemon with Frenzied Gogging, so that's interesting, but it does 200 damage to itself if you use the attack, if you knock something out with it. And then there's Calamity Storm. You can slap 220 if, yeah, you may discard a Stadium in play. If you do, you slap 220. Ancient Pokemon, you can power it up with Professor Sada in combination with Dark Badge. Even Raihan could work, so insta one-shotting is very cool with Roaring Moon. And I wonder if it's going to be seeing play in its own deck. There's going to be Steelix, 1 energy, 130. This attack does 30 damage to each of your bench Pokemon. For 1 energy, 130 as a metal type, you could just turn to KO chien-pao. Boom! I know it's ridiculous, but 1 energy, 130. Like, we've come so far. I remember back in the days of Donphan Prime when it only needed 1 energy to slap 60. Now there's Pokemon slapping 160, accelerating 3 fighting energies from the discard pile for 1 energy. How the times have changed. I think that's a cool description of how power creep is going on. Jirachi. Attacks from your opponent's basic Pokemon can't put any damage counters on your bench Pokemon. So pretty much, when you have Jirachi in play, Sableye cannot affect your Pokemon on the bench. Also, Yogaloop Medicham will have to deal with Stellar Veil, which is crazy. Very great card as a counter card for Lost Box and Rapid Strike Box. I like it. Okay. Next up, a Ferrothorn, which is bulk. There is a Durant, which mills your opponent's entire deck if they have 1 prize card remaining. No, I wish it was something like that. No, 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 no. It is 20 damage for each damage counter on all of your Durant. So you play Gape Job Bog and DTE and still do nothing. It's bad. Okay, there is going to be an Aegislash, which is immune from attacks by your opponent's Pokemon EX and Pokemon V. So, I know Mimikyu V also does something like this, but it has a low amount of hit points. I think Aegislash will be the Decidueye of its time, right? Decidueye being immune from damage from your EXs and V Pokemon. We've seen this before, it works out, and also as an attack, 120 damage, and it can go through any effects, so that's cool. If the opponent doesn't have a way to deal with this, it's going to be great. You can combine that with a new tool card, putting non-rule box Pokemon 100 additional HP. So you have 250 HP and you're immune from EXs and V Pokemon. So that could be a way you could be cheesing out the format. Aegislash will be hopefully the new Decidueye. Then there's an Aegislash, the offensive form, and the EX Pokemon, 70 damage for every prize card you have taken. It's a stage 2, but if you've taken like 4 prize cards, 280 for 1 energy doesn't seem bad. There's a basic Zacian, whatever. I know how to pronounce it, but I prefer my own way you can pronounce Pokemon. Attach a basic metal energy from your discard pile to one of your bench Pokemon, so acceleration, I suppose. Okay, Skeledirge EX, Terraform, slapping more damage. Yeah, giving more damage output for fire Pokemon. Once during your turn, you may discard a fire energy from your hand in order to use the ability. During this turn, your Pokemon attacks deal 60 more damage to your opponent's active Pokemon. This also stacks if you can get 2 of them out. Fire Incendiary Song, poof, 120 additional damage during that turn for your Pokemon's attacks. I think your Pokemon's attacks. Okay, it's not only required to fire Pokemon, but you need to discard fire energies. There's that. But yeah, helping Pokemon deal out 60 more damage once during your turn. So if you get it out, you'll always have that additional power boost. I wonder if people will try that out. Maybe in decks that already resort to rare candy. Think about Charizard EX, Skeledirge EX deck. Like then Charizard in the early game could also slap ridiculous amount of damage. I don't know, it's just a little example, but probably gonna be too clunky. Maybe its own deck, right? The deck does 160, but if you get 2 of them out, 60 and a 60 is 120. It is going to be 280, a perfect number for V-Stars. Alright. There's a Sudden Rush fella over here, Earthworm, 90 damage. If there's 3 or less cards remaining in your deck, you slap 240 instead. Say what now? 240, but you need to get this attack up, by the way. It's similar to Kyogre in that sense. You just late game sweeper, I guess. Late game sweeper Earthworm. Maybe in Lost Box. in the Zamazenta Lost box, you can have this Earthworm in the late game, I guess. Then Goldango EX, look at this, it's Cheese Man. It is Sideshow Bob, whatever, it is great. It draws cards, it slaps ridiculous amount of damage. I'm a fan of it. So first of all, coin bonus. Once during your turn, you may draw a card. If it's in the active spot, you may draw 2 cards. This is also stackable, which means if you have 2 Goldangos out, the first one in the active slot, draw 2. The one on the bench draws an additional card as well. Or maybe you put it in the active position and you just have 4 additional draw power. It's great. Draw power has always been significantly great. If we take a look at Zoroark EX, actually Zoroark GX back in the days, Tor's favorite deck, I suppose. So you draw many cards, and that's great. You can have something similar with Goldango, where you use the evolution technical machine to evolve all the Goldangos, and you have 4 Goldangos in play, and you just keep drawing a lot of cards, and you have some control element to it. Is something you can work with, but more importantly, the damage output. Make it rain. Discard any number of basic energy cards from your hand. This attack does 50 damage for every card discarded in this way. Doesn't necessarily need to be metal energies, just basic energy cards. You could be discarding metal energies, all the rest of the basic energies as well. So you can attacking some psychic energies in here as well. And it only requires 1 metal energy, so you never will not be able to use this attack, which is crazy. It reminds me of Blacephalon from Unbroken Bonds. It's a stage 2, has more HP. Actually, it's a stage 1. Meaning it needs to evolve, it's not a basic, but it slaps ridiculous amount of damage, and I think it's going to be very great in the format. So Goldango EX, one of my favorites. Altaria EX heals 20 damage from each of your Pokemon, also stacks, but it's very bad because of the fact that, oh no, now that I think about it, during your opponent's next turn, prevent all effects of attacks from your opponent's Pokemon done to this Pokemon, so it's actually only effects, so no damage, so I think it's very bad. Tatsugiri, underrated Pokemon, you might be overlooking this card, but comes back with a crazy attack, survival strategy, search your deck for 2 cards and put them in hand. And then you may switch this Pokemon to one of your bench Pokemon. So, Yeet, you get 2 cards from the deck and just promote Mimikyu, promote Block Snorlax, promote Klefki. It's a great control card. Sander will love this. I know it. He's definitely going to be playing this. It's great. Okay, Porygon Z. Okay, once during your turn, flip a coin. Always love to flip coins, this one. Is it? If heads, choose up to 4 basic energy cards from your discard pile and attach them to this Pokemon. If tails, discard 1 energy from this discard. Okay, this is bad. It's a bad Pokemon. Don't rely on coin flips. It is not going to be going your way. Okay, more Pokemon for the bulk. Exploud! Discard your opponent's active Pokemon and all cards attached. If this Pokemon did not evolve from Loudred, this attack does nothing. So, Iono, Path, Explode, you are discarded. And then the opponent has 1 more Pokemon. Like, you have to combine it with something. Let's say Avery, but then you cannot Iono, so there's that. But you have to make sure the opponent only has like a low amount of Pokemon in play. But this is a great, let's say against Arcdura, for example. There you go, you're discarded. Your entire Duraludon is discarded. There we go. It's memey, but fun. Okay. If this Pokemon is confused, you may flip a coin, and then it prevents damage done to it. So, confusing Spindle deck. Let's go. Tandemaus, low HP. Eventually goes to the mouse hold. If this Pokemon is in the active spot and is damaged by an attack from your opponent's Pokemon, put 3 damage counters on the attacking Pokemon for each Tandemaus and mouse hold in play. Unfortunately, we do not have Skyfield, so we are only limited to 6 of them. But if you get damaged, that's going to be 18 damage counters on the opponent's Pokemon. Okay, that's pretty memey, I know. You take KOs by getting knocked out, but you also will need Jirachi, otherwise these little 30 HP fellas or 40 HP fellas will also get knocked out. Another meme deck, crazy. If you go first, you can use this attack. We've seen cards like this before with Talonflame V, Raichu V, or actually, was it Talonflame? Yeah, I think so. Search your deck for 3 basic Pokemon and put them on the bench. You also need to be playing some Switch Outs, by the way, or maybe decks will rely on like 4 Bombearder and 1 Ditto to just make sure you always can get into the game, because attach, boom, you're in the game. I think that's great. Setup decks might actually resort to a Bombearder engine. We will find out soon enough. There's Iron Jugalulus. Jugilus? Hey Dragon from the future. That's what I call it. This Pokemon actually slaps 50 damage to 3 of your opponent's Pokemon that already have damage counters on it. So, yeah. How do you power it up in 1 turn? That is a question. Also, you can be playing Hawlucha Flying Entry to just get the damage on there already, but that's not good. Its second attack though, 150 damage. If this Pokemon has a future boost, oh, now that I think about it, you could also flying entry and then put a 1-off into your chien-pao deck to just cheese opponents. No, don't do it. Second attack, 150. If this Pokemon has a future boost energy capsule attached, you only need 2 colorless energies to get the attack off. So with a DTE, you can get it off for 130. That means. But let's check out the capsules, by the way, or the tool cards, trainer cards, etc. Ancient Booster Energy Capsule. You actually gain 60 additional HP and recover from all special conditions, and only works on ancient Pokemon, by the way. So your Roaring Moon can get more HP, etc. So cool. Counter Catcher is back, so Control does get Tatsugiri, does get Counter Catcher, so there's things to note word here. And Counter Catcher back in the days of Crimson Invasion. Lots of counter, like we have now a lot of comeback cards, Reversal Energy, Iono, Counter Catcher. Like, I think this is a card that's going to be perfect for control decks or decks that fall behind. I would say Snorlax Block will love this. Screw Pokemon Catcher. Counter Catcher is the way. Block Snorlax suddenly becomes scarier than ever before, because they could be playing Arven and Cross Switchers and Boss, and it's going to be tricky for sure. Cursed Duster. If this Pokemon is... yeah, if you are knocked out from damage from your opponent's Pokemon, discard a random card from your opponent's hand. If you have this. Okay, a way to discard the opponent's hand. But it's, again, a random card. And there's B-Barrel in the format. And there's Quick Search Pidgeot. And there is Refinement. I don't think this will be doing anything. Defiance Vest, maybe. Yeah. Defiance Vest, if you are behind in prize card. Again, a comeback card. You take 40 less damage from attacks. 40 bulk. Who's up for a big Goodra? Okay. Earthen Vessel, probably one of the better cards in the set. It's like Professor's Letter, if you've been playing for ages, like me, if you're a dinosaur. Search your deck for 2 basic energies, reveal them and put them in the hand, but you have to discard a card from the hand first. Could be seen playing Gardevoir to just go turbo and get all the psychic energies, but more importantly will be played in chien-pao to get the water energies, or maybe the tech cards, water energy and a lightning energy, so you can get the iron hands off. Future Booster Energy Capsule, make sure that all the future Pokemon have free retreats. And do also 20 more damage to your opponent's active Pokemon. Like, it's like Muscle Band and Floatstone combined in one tool card. That's bonkers. This is great for any future Pokemon. Think about Iron Valiant, Iron Hands. These are like very great Pokemon that will use these. Larry, flip a coin. If heads, search your deck for 2 Pokemon and put them in hand. If tails, search your deck for a basic Pokemon and put them in hand. Okay, either you get 2 Pokemon or only 1 Pokemon. This is bad. Larry is bad. Yeah, the Luxury Escape, 100 additional HP for your non-rule box Pokemon, and sacrifice that you give up an additional prize card. So you could create a block Snorlax with 250 HP, but it is a 2-prizer then. Noteworthy. I think it's still better to use Bravery Charm, but there are ways maybe you can play one of these. Think about Torterra meme deck, certainly having 290 HP, so non-rule box Pokemon become 2-prizers. That's crazy. Mela. You could only play this card if you one of your Pokemon got knocked out. She is part of the Fire Nation. No, not really. Attach basic Fire Energy from your discard pile to one of your Pokemon. So same effect as a Raihan would do. But the side effect is if you do, then draw cards until you have 6 in hand. So draw power instead of getting any cards you want. I think Raihan is obviously way better. Draw 2 cards if your opponent's active Pokemon is a Pokemon EX. Draw 2 more. So Norman draws 4 if you're playing an EX focus deck. Not great. Also, Parasol Lady, shuffle your hand into your deck, draw 4. If you go second and it's your first turn, draw 8. No, I would much rather be playing Iono in my deck than just a situational card. Professor Sada's Vitality. This is a great card. Choose up to 2 of your ancient Pokemon and attach 1 basic energy you find there to your from your discard pile to each of them. So you can power up ancient Pokemon. It's like Welder for 2 targets, but both targets only get 1 energy. And you also draw 3 cards. Very strong card. Will see tons of play. Will be worked with any ancient Pokemon deck out there. Professor Turo's Scenario, so it's AZ in disguise. You pick up one of your Pokemon and discard all cards attached to that Pokemon. So good work out to pick up the cards like Work Trio to reuse the ability, I suppose. Yeah, you can now reuse the evolution Pokemons, their abilities with Professor Turo's Scenario, because Penny only works with basic Pokemon. We've seen AZ work back in the day, so yeah, as a side effect, it's working a little similar to something like Penny. So you can also discard, actually pick up a Luminion or Squawkabilly or whatever. There's Recall. Look at the top 4 cards of your deck, put 2 of them in the hand. Shuffle the cards and put them on the bottom of the deck, the other 2. Rourke, draw 2 cards, put a basic energy card from your discard pile into your hand. That's very bad. Why would you want to put it in hand? Chantal, flip a coin. If head, switch in one of your opponent's bench Pokemon to the active slot. If tails, switch your active Pokemon with one of your bench Pokemon. So it's either boss or switch depending on the coin flip. That's crazy bad. Snorlax doll is Clefairy's Pokédoll, but you're only able to get it into play if it's in your opening hand. Then you can slap it down at your face down active Pokemon or on your bench as well. But it has 120 HP and is just regarded as a colorless basic Pokemon. And you can discard this at any given time. But if the opponent knocks it out, you get 0 prize cards for it. So pretty much you can be playing a deck with 4 Snorlax block, no basic Pokemon. You always start with this. And then you can make a false soul deck or whatever. It's a funky way. It's a funky card. I wonder if it's going to be C-play. Technical machines are back. 100 damage to one of your opponent's Pokemon that has any damage counters on it already for 3 colorless energy. So you can actually equip this to a Pokemon and they can use these attacks. There's Devolution. You can devolve all of your opponent's Pokemon and put the highest stage back in the hand. So you can undo Rare Candy against Baxcalibur. You can just keep spamming this and then suddenly they are all out of Baxcaliburs because their candies are all out. They're not playing this stage 1. Or you can just spread around some damage against Gardevoir and then devolve all of them and boom, you're done. Sableye will love this new card. Evolution is also great. Some decks will be forced to go second and be playing a lot of these evolution tools. So you can just scout it out with Arven, VIP Pass, get the Pokemon, equip this to one of your Pokemon, attach of the turn, and evolve them instantly so you don't have the weak HP basics. Very good. We'll be maybe seeing playing Goldango because the Glimigoo have low HP. Turbo Energize, search your deck for 2 basic energy cards and attach them to your bench Pokemon in any way that you like. You can accelerate energies now in any deck if you want to, but searching it out, you're probably going to have to rely on Arven to find tool cards because the Arata doesn't allow us to Pokestop or Irida or whatever for them. Techno Raider, search your deck for 2 future Pokemon and put them in hand. Very great. You can search out all your Iron Valiant EXs in that Donking deck I talked about. Also, you can only use this card if you discard a card from hand. So there's that. But we did see Electric Generator, or actually Electromagnetic Raider seen used in the past. So cards that search up specific Pokemon always see play. There's Steelip. Put any 4 in any combination of Psychic Pokemon and basic energy cards from your discard pile into your hand. So you can use this in Gardevoir or in Lost Box. That means you can get out Sableye and Energy, or in Gardevoir you can get out like Ralst, Kirlia, and Energy so you can use Greninja again. Yeah, it's a crazy card if you want to be playing that over Super Rod. I don't know, but anyhow, there's also going to be the Medical Energy. When you attach this from your hand, heal 30 damage. So you can be playing this in Lugia, I guess, to undo some damage from an innocent spit innocently or whatever. But the thing is that it only works if you attach it to the Pokemon. It doesn't work if it comes from the deck with Archeops. There's that. Also, super cool secret rares or character rares if you see them. If there's anyone you like, there's so many beautiful arts here, again, for the people to collect. And I personally am a big fan of Goldango. Minior is also pretty nice. Yveltal looks cool. There's Steelix. Look at all of them. They just look so wonderful. And yeah, there's gonna be crazy sets for collectors. But now you have seen a run through of all yeah, the fancy cards here. A lot of full art trainers to collect as well. And these alt art EXs. Look at this Iron Hands just going through the walls. There's Sandy Shocks. Goldango, my personal chase card here. Goldango EX. And the alt arts for the supporters as well. These gold Pokemon look very weird. And also, now that I think about it, we get, I think this is Beach Court? Yeah. Is this Beach Court? I think so. One retreat cost less. Let's go. Secret Rare, Counter Catcher, Luxury Escape, Reversal Energy. And then talking about the pre-release promos here. Which one is your favorite? Probably for me, it's going to be either Zato or Iron Bundle. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this run through of the complete Paradox Rift set. If you did, let me know by rocking the hell out of the like button. Helps out in many ways. Go check out our sponsors as well. If you want to create your own custom playmat from scratch, go head over to yourplaymat.com and you can get 5%, actually 10% off if you click the link down below. So create that custom playmat you've always dreamed of. Dragon Shield for your sleeves, binders, and deck boxes, links down below. If you're a European player, go check out CARDMARKET.com. So you can buy and sell cards to people all across Europe. Use the referral name TCG for 5% off. Actually, on CARDMARKET, that is not the way it goes, but it helps out the channel tremendously. The 5% off is for Poketown Store, so you can actually get some code cards a little bit cheaper, so you can stack them into your account, so you can start making these decks as soon as the set releases. Beginning of November, I think it's the 3rd of November. So look forward to the Paradox Rift set, and I'll be seeing you guys tomorrow for more Pokemon epicness. Peace!